Boys and girls, moms and dads, welcome back to Pin to Pin, the Volleyball Podcast. My name is Ryan Tolman. I'm your show host. To my right, Danger Will Robinson, our co-host, co-show host. And then behind the screen tonight is not Noah Cotterman. I know you guys are all devastated that he's not with us. He's in.
You see him all the time.
All the time. Yeah, he's in every episode, but he's not here tonight. He's in California with his Benedictine University men's volleyball team. And so his sit-in tonight is actually my beautiful wife, Katie. She's got a big job to do tonight. About
4 jobs.
4 buttons she's going to push. Hopefully she doesn't screw that up. I have great faith in her. She's incredibly talented. And then we've got a special treat for you guys tonight, as you can see if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're not, you can't see, and that's okay. But we've got a special guest, our first guest on the show. His name is Kris Maglunog, and he's with us tonight to talk about some awesome experiences from his life. He coaches with us at Aspire, and he also coaches at Club One, and he coaches at girls varsity at Horizon Honors, and we're excited to have him. So let's go ahead and get this show on the road. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
There it is.
Almost.
The high five.
There we go.
The high five was Katie did her job really well with the mic. With
We
the,
did
the
an
clapping.
awful job.
The high
We did
five
an
was
awful
really
job.
awkward, so that one's going to go
The
over
next
really
time you're
well.
with 2 other people, try doing it. and
Hopefully you're
way
not
harder than
watching
you
it on
think.
YouTube and you're not laughing at us right now. So we might as well start with some of the stuff that we end with. You can find us on Spotify, Google, Apple, YouTube. We have a Venmo connected to all of that. We'd love some donations, try to pay for some of this stuff. We're going to come out with, in the next episode, some promotional stuff so we can give some people some shout outs and talk about some different show
we do have
contributors
one
out
donor.
there.
We do not need to say who it is yet. He's going to get a special shout out.
A special shout out.
Special shout out.
Yeah, for sure. Our first donor. So he's definitely going to get the special treatment for that. So what are we talking about tonight?
I don't know. You're the host.
I know. I threw it at you for once.
We're talking about facing adversity.
Facing adversity. Okay. As athletes, it's a huge deal, right? Well, as human beings.
As humans.
Yeah.
Right. But as coaches, we have a pretty unique opportunity to take some of the adversity that we've experienced in our lives and help our players understand a little bit about what life's all about, and then how to maybe apply that on the volleyball court. So we've got Kris with us tonight. Our show, what would you say? Our show inspiration is a Carrie Walsh Jennings quote.
Who is that?
She played a little bit of volleyball in her day.
You're actually the most beachy guy we have right now.
Yeah, I also coach beach at.
So who's
Horizon.
Carrie Walsh to a person that has no idea anything
Kris
about
on the
volleyball?
spot.
No, I think this is good. Yeah, go for it.
I mean, Carrie Walsh is one of the best women's volleyball players to ever play the game.
Off top, how many gold medals does she have?
3,
How many silvers does she have?
0.
I think she has 1 silver.
Does she get 1?
Let me
Did
see, now we're gonna have to figure it out.
3 golds. And
She's a
1
winner.
bronze.
She's a winner, and I'm pretty sure she won a natty at Stanford.
I think so.
I think so.
So,
And
Will,
what is- yeah,
Will, read
yeah.
our quote for us. Will, what do you got?
okay.
This
All
is
right.
this is the inspiration for our show tonight.
Adversity, if you allow it to, will fortify you and make you the best you can be. Carrie Walsh Jennings.
So we're going to talk about facing adversity, making you the best you can be. Sometimes people shrivel in the face of adversity. That's not you, Kris.
Sometimes.
See, Kris is going to be real
Behind
humble
closed
tonight.
doors, right? Yeah.
So let's start a little bit. Let's start with your volleyball career, your coaching career. Kind of what where you started and all that stuff. So where'd you grow up first off?
So I grew up in Houston, Texas, moved here to Arizona when I was like around middle school. So
Okay.
the year 1999, 2000.
Got it. And did you play volleyball in high school?
I did. I played at Skyline High School.
Okay.
Graduated in 2006.
The Coyotes.
So you were one of the first classes there, right?
No. I think their first class was 2000.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they were
Skyline
that old.
High School is a
the-
place that's very for me very near and dear to my heart. It's actually on the wall behind you, the gym. That's where we won the state championship this last year. Was at Skyline's gym.
Random
Oh, that's
spot,
awesome.
by the
Isn't
way.
that crazy?
Such
I know,
a
but
random spot to have a
Yeah.
state championship.
Nice green gym.
Yeah, but it's big.
It's big.
Who was
yeah.
your coach?
Steve Convalin.
All right.
I think he just retired there.
Oh, so he was still teaching there, present.
Yeah, I think he's still
What?
teaching there. I'm not sure.
Wow, that's incredible.
Good for him. I want to retire. That's like soon.
Can't we all say that though?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm done.
Okay, so high school, played in high school, and then
Why did you get into volleyball?
Yeah,
That's a great question.
Why'd you decide to play?
I mean, I wasn't like a sporty guy, and I had some of my friends who played volleyball, so I decided to try it out, and then immediately I got hooked. So I started as a sophomore. I didn't play my freshman year because back then Mesa Public Schools had 10th, 11th, 12th grade, and
so you were still in middle school.
Junior high,
junior high, right. Okay, so then after high school, what was the volleyball journey at that point?
I mean, it was on and off. I played just tournaments here and there. So I played a lot of beach tournaments, a lot of indoor tournaments.
Just wherever you could find
club.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't
Webster's.
play for school.
Shout out to Webster's, right?
Shout out to
I think that was
Webster's
the
Open
first time
Gym.
you and I met each other.
Yeah,
I think.
probably.
Yeah. Do you know what Webster's is?
No freaking
What's
clue.
Webster's, Chris? You have the most experience.
It was the Monday night place to be.
It was
for
the
volleyball.
mecca of open gyms in this state. I
Wow.
swear to God.
Just great
Yeah.
volleyball.
Yeah.
Good volleyball.
Was it Webster Elementary?
Yeah, in downtown,
By
like
West-
Mesa, not
yeah,
downtown
Westwood,
Mesa,
yeah.
but like
Yeah,
old
okay.
school. Yeah.
Just a random spot to have some good volleyball.
Really random.
That's
Yeah.
cool. And then, so you go to college. Where'd you go to college?
I went to MCC and ASU.
Okay, go Sun Devils.
Yeah, go Sun Devils.
See, from the minute I met you, I was like, I like this guy, and it's probably that. It's probably a Sun Devil thing. Yeah. So, at what point did you decide that teaching and coaching was kind of your thing?
Funny story. So I actually was on the ASU bowling team for 3 years.
I can
didn't know-
totally
I don't
believe that.
think you-
No,
I
I
don't
can.
think you
I
knew
can
that.
totally. I think I knew you were.
didn't
Is
know
that
that?
a thing? I didn't know that, and that's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a
I'm
captain for
terrible,
2 years.
I'm a terrible bowler. I'm so
Yeah.
bad at it.
And I did it because my dad was like all into bowling.
Okay.
So I was like, all right.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times
I
we do
think
stuff because
I
our
think he'll
dad.
support me, like pay for my funds. Or
Okay.
whatever. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I love it.
Which is cool.
Well, and now you're a big. Not to jump ahead, but now you're a big disc golfer.
Really good at it.
I mean, I'm okay.
Yeah.
See, here it goes humbling in.
I would say you're.
It's just the
are you-
target sports is like.
Yeah,
You
right.
love
Like
that,
the
yeah.
pins,
I love
the yeah, that's awesome. The chains, as they say in disc golf, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in college, you're bowling, and
Yeah, and I just had a coach, Jordan Asberg. He was my bowling coach, and he's not a guy like you either like him or you don't like him.
okay,
And it's
I
like
know
that.
who that is.
He plays or he's very well known in the bowling world. And
Okay, wow.
He just inspired me to coach.
that's cool.
But
He
you didn't.
taught-
Did you start coaching bowling? Okay.
not.
Okay. All right.
No. I just learned like the mental side of the game and all that, and then we just talked a lot about coaching, and I got into coaching volleyball after I got a high.
What was your first gig?
Yeah, what was the
gig?
first volleyball coaching gig?
coaching gig? Well, actually, I got a coaching gig right out of high school. I was the JV coach for the boys team at Mountain View High School.
Okay,
Who was the
2007.
head coach then?
It
Is
was
that Higgins?
Brian Hanna.
2000
Brian Hanna.
2007.
Yeah, 2007.
Okay, so I was at
coached me?
Desert Vista at the time. I don't. That's Brian Hanna's a great guy.
Yeah,
You know Brian Hanna too.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
Coached
he's a
against
Mesa
him
guy.
many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. And then you got into another side of volleyball at some point.
Like, what are you talking about?
You climbed up the ref stand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I
That's a
started
whole
coaching.
nother
When did you
side,
start
man.
that?
When did I start reffing?
Yeah.
Man, it was
5-7 years
my
ago.
second year of coaching club. So I started coaching club 2014.
Yeah. Okay.
So 2015, I started reffing.
Yeah, because there was one turn.
Because
I was like,
you're
he's
just-
not wearing coaching gear. He's a ref now.
It was that's very brave of you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's almost
I only,
like a- it's almost
I
like a
only
police-
reffed so that I could be a better coach, to be honest.
That's awesome. It's almost like a police officer going to jail, right? Like they're going to beat that guy up.
Yeah.
Like the referee that crosses over, the coach that crosses over, right?
Dangerous game.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous game, and I'm doing it too. It's scary.
You're gonna ref?
Yeah, man, I'm a registered
When,
ref.
when do you have time for that?
This Saturday.
Okay. Is that what you?
AM wave.
AM wave.
Because then we got a big time party later.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
All right. So fast forward through all of this stuff. We're talking about adversity today. So let's get to that.
Have you ever told this story?
A few times, but I mean,
Yeah. I
There's
have
a few
never,
times.
I don't think I've ever heard it A to Z, if you will.
I mean,
So I'm
like-
I'm excited to learn about
a lot.
this. Yeah, and it's still happening. I mean, it's still a
I'm,
process.
I'm still living it. So.
Yeah, you're gonna live.
I'm very
yeah.
surprised you guys asked me to come here today.
Oh, I'm not.
Well, once the people hear your story, they're going to understand. So at what point did you get married? When did you meet your wife?
So me and my wife were like high school or middle school best friends. We were best friends in middle school.
Love it. Dude, love it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This is going to be amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So many interesting stuff. So you stayed in contact or the whole way through high school, college?
No, we were like best friends.
Yeah, you just kept on.
We weren't like we weren't like dating in high school or anything, but I went to ASU and she went to U of A. So that's when we
deal
kind
breaker
of
right there. Deal breaker.
That's when we had a lot of
talk about adversity.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, the trips to Tucson weren't very fun.
Right?
Yeah.
No one likes those trips. So, okay. So when did you guys get married?
So we got married in 2016.
Okay. 2016. Yep. So that's almost 6 years.
Yeah.
Or is it 6 years?
We are on or almost to 6
Almost to 6 years. Okay. And you've got some kids?
Yeah, we got two. Just turned 5-year-old Kayluna and
beautiful
1.5-year-old Gilana.
5 and a 1-year-old.
You guys know how to name kids.
Yes, right.
Those are awesome names.
Well, I teach, so we try to like, we can't name that our daughter that.
Because then you're going to just be in your teacher. Yeah. Or that's
the name.
I get it.
The
I
name's
totally
important
get it.
for high school.
Yeah.
That's all it, right?
Yeah. So.
Okay, so you have the kid. So a year and a half ago, your youngest is born. And then what happened?
So, we can start from the beginning.
Start from the beginning.
So basically, the start of the pandemic was not a very good start for me in the pandemic. So the day that the shutdown happened, I actually had a retinal detachment. So I went blind in my left eye.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember this? I do.
No,
I
dude,
do.
The pandemic was rough for me too. I don't remember much. I was in my own zone.
You're an incredible.
So you go
sit tight here, folks.
So detached retina.
Yeah, and I was blind in my left eye. So I went in and they're like, yo, you got to get surgery ASAP or you will like lose your vision.
Holy cow.
Right now.
So your world at that point is kind of turned upside down.
Yeah, and then basically the day I had my surgery, that was the first time that, hey, we're shutting everything down.
So it's mid-March, right?
Yeah,
March 12th.
March 12th, I got my surgery.
I love how we as humans just know that
Crazy.
date.
March 12th.
It's crazy.
And crazy thing is that March 11th is our anniversary, and that's when I found out I had to get the surgery like right away.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So you get the surgery.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's a success.
It's successful. I could see, it's pretty awesome.
That's good.
Good
Yeah.
thing.
Seeing's good.
Yeah.
Totally take it for
Seems
granted,
great.
don't you?
Right.
We take we take so many things for granted.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that's when I picked up disc golf because low impact.
That's when we all picked it up.
That's when
But we didn't know we picked it up together.
Yeah.
We picked it up on separate, and then we're like, oh my god,
Like different.
Kris does it too.
metaverses.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Join my group chat.
Yeah, groupie, frothing with friends. God, we're
Such
Yeah.
dorks. I will
are.
never disc golf.
He never will. He's too good for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Way too pretentious for that. I need a ball golf.
Whatever.
I like the ball golf.
Oh, me too.
You
All
just
right,
said ball golf. Wow.
You get that? That's a shout out to Sage on that one. So, all right. So you get the surgery.
Yeah.
Eyes better. Pandemic is terrible because you're
Yeah.
not coaching. You're not teaching.
Yeah.
Your world is shut down. I know how it feels, right? Me and my kids at home was tough.
Yeah.
And then what?
So we decided as a family, it was me, my wife, and my then 3-year-old probably. I don't know, 3-year-old probably. And we were like, our nephew or my wife's nephew is graduating high school in Las Vegas. All right, let's go because we've been stuck in the house. Let's just go. And we were up in Vegas, and then we were supposed to go home that Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
Right? So we talked about it. Let's just go home Monday morning because it's my wife's mom's or my mother-in-law's birthday the next day. So we decided to kind of stay. And so that afternoon, my wife had like these stroke-like symptoms. So
Slurring her words kind of thing?
No, we were going to go take the kids out to the casinos or just walk around because we had family from Vegas and in San Diego. We're all in Vegas, and then my wife had this terrible headache. So me and my wife just stayed back. She threw up a little bit. All right, thinking it was gonna feel better, and all of a sudden she had this like seizure, like thing. She called me in the room, and I was just chilling on the couch, and then she has a seizure. It's just me and my wife at my cousin's house or my wife's cousin's house, and then she like rolled off the bed. She could like having the seizures, and I was like, oh, can I call the ambulance?
Yeah.
And so and then the way my cousin found out, because I called her first. She's a nurse practitioner. I called her first. I was running in and out, and they have those cameras. So she was out like seeing, oh, what's going on? Why is he running in and out of the house? I'm like, because I didn't know the address.
Never prepared for that moment.
No.
Right? You can't prepare for it.
Can't. Yeah. So, and my wife at the time was 28 weeks pregnant.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
This is why I got to hear that.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So she was 28
she's
weeks
pregnant.
pregnant. Yeah. At the time.
Having a seizure.
And then turns out she had a brain aneurysm rupture.
That's insane.
Yeah. So I was like, it was bad that night. Yeah.
Touch and go.
That's it
for her and the baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So they were like, they had me sign all these papers, like, do you have a will kind of thing?
No idea what you're signing, just like
a DNRs maybe. Yep. I know how that is.
Yeah.
So they save her.
Yeah, I mean,
right, like,
yeah, she almost died the first time. So she had this what they call aneurysm coiling. So they go in, and then they coil the aneurysm, but they still had.
What does that mean?
So they go in.
Medical stuff, Will.
Yeah, medical stuff.
Because an aneurysm is just basically a blood vessel in your brain going boom.
They
right?
go like
big
through radiation. And so they go in like through the leg or whatever, up the brain to kind of coil it to stop the bleeding. But at the time, they were like, there's still a lot of pressure in her head, and we have to do this bone flap surgery. So we have to, or it's craniotomy. So they have to
my goodness.
That happened to Saunders.
Yeah,
Saunders had a
take
craniotomy. The pressure.
Like the brain out and to relieve the pressure. But they were like, her one eye is already dilated, and if her other eye dilates, then she's gone.
And she's got a baby in her. That's insane.
Yeah.
And so they're saving her. They're saving the baby.
Process all
I
this
know
over
it's wild.
Yeah.
So what state was she in when the baby was born?
So she was so after the first night, she actually was fine. Like the baby was doing well. And then after a week, because they had to go, she had to be on blood thinners. And then there's complications through that because now she had a second stroke in the hospital. So now they put her in a coma from there. So when they put her in a coma a week into the hospital stay, then the baby started showing signs of distress.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Mom's sleeping forever. Like she's not getting out.
What's going on? Yeah.
Because they had, so it was like they had to work with the baby doctors. They got to work with the brain doctors.
Oh, that must have been
It's like 8 people in there all the time. Yeah.
There's a lot of people in there.
And you're probably trying to get family out there.
Yeah.
Right.
And the weird thing is, it's like they only had certain like visiting hours because it was still because of COVID. Yeah.
I can't even hardly wrap my mind around this. Okay, so
did they induce labor?
Yeah. So how was the baby born at that point?
I mean, obviously by C-section, but so they were going to decide. They had some complications going on because they wanted to keep the baby in the mother,
as long as possible
because it's like for developmental stuff,
right?
And so I mean, the craziest thing is that they had like there was one night I'll never forget. They were like, you just have to make a choice, like.
Oh, come on.
What the?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Katie over there's got big eyes. Like, no choice. Nope, not happening.
I was like, man, if you're gonna like, I just told him, I was like, I'd rather save one than lose both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they decided a date. They decided a date to like, all right, we're gonna have the C-section then, and then she was the day of her birth or my kid's birth. She had some complications of the brain. So they have to so I was in a meeting with like the anesthesiologist, the neurosurgeon, all this stuff, and the baby doctors, because they were going to be like, can we keep her anesthetized, I guess?
Yeah.
Or under anesthesia for long enough to do the brain surgery, roll her down across the hallway.
Because it's a baby. Yeah. This is uncharted waters a little bit.
Yeah. So they don't know. Yeah.
I can't.
And then,
can't even imagine. It makes my adversity over COVID. Like I talk about COVID, it was awful.
Yeah.
I was stuck in my bedroom all the time. I couldn't get it. It makes it look really.
I know, but this is kind of like everyone has their stuff.
Sure, Chris. See, and that's what Chris.
Everyone has their thing.
Everyone's got. You're right.
This is just my thing right here.
But it's a big thing. It was a big deal, and so let's fast forward a little bit here. The baby's born. Mom's okay.
Yeah, she's recovering.
And she's recovering. But she's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Requires a lot of care.
Yep.
and yet you still find time. So now you've got.
Yeah, we got to talk about this guy.
So now you've got a 5-year-old at home. You've got a 1.5-year-old at home.
Yep.
You've got a wife that requires. How did he find time to come here? He's got a wife that requires.
Had a birthday today
a lot
too,
of care.
by the way. It's a good birthday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And yet you still find time to coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shout out to my in-laws who come over every day, and they allow me to kind of do my thing and let me kind of escape a little bit, as they say. And then,
how many times over the last year or so have you just wanted to mail it in and quit the coaching? Like, this is too much for me.
there are a few times, yeah, especially when there are time where like kids don't want to listen.
You're like,
it's like, what am I doing here?
yeah, I could be home with my wife and kids. Yeah.
You guys don't want to listen. Like, you don't want to move your feet.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Let me explain to you what I did today, and then maybe you should move your feet. So do you talk about this adversity, these challenges with your players? How much do your players know?
So like my high school players know, because I told them the whole story.
Right.
You had to, though, because you took a leave of absence for
a year off.
A year off, yeah.
Yep. And then I told them straight up, I'm like, hey, this is what I'm going through. So either take it or you don't. I'm going to coach you the best that I can, and we're all in this together, kind of thing. And
it's the best way to do
let's do it.
Yep.
And then
that's the best way to do it. That's how I should have dealt with it. Yeah. That's
when
amazing.
your mom passed. Yeah.
That was amazing. That's perfect.
So what do you think is, I mean, if you can, this is going to be a really hard question.
Okay.
If you can kind of look back at all of it, and you can maybe pinpoint a lesson that you learned or something that has made you stronger, better, coach, mentor of kids. Is there some way you could articulate maybe what that is?
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that reflecting on what I've been through. So the main thing is like, who like really cares for you. Like, who your true friends are. Who's going to have your back all the time. And
when you're at your worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
totally.
they know. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who say all these things, which is cool, love the support, whatever. But if and then you reach out to them, and then
there's
nothing,
no reciprocation.
Right. So it's kind of like,
that speaks volumes. I totally, yeah.
So that's, you know who your friends are, who you can rely on. And the other thing is, it's like, no matter what that you're doing, like let's say right now I teach high school or middle school, and I coach volleyball. Like, I'm going to do it to the best that I can. And now that I have 2 daughters, like, I'm going to coach my kids to like, this is how I want my kids to grow up. This is how I want my kids. Like, I want my players to be my kids' role models. Oh, you were coached by my dad?
Yeah. You've said
cool
that so many times.
I love that.
That's good.
I love that. That's incredible. Will and I talked, I think, on the first episode about how our experiences have molded who we are as coaches.
Yeah.
And I go back to my playing days and injuries that I experienced and setbacks. My basketball playing days. Yeah, sorry. Thanks for reminding everybody that. Yeah.
That's his son, not him.
Yeah,
that is not totally.
I was not built like that. And they certainly have given me experiences that I can share with my kids, but yours are incredible.
You're on a different level.
Listen, when I see you in the gym, it's an awesome reminder every day when I see you there that you can push through difficult things, that you can do hard things because you love others the way you do, and you care about others the way you do. I watched you with that our 14s team, our boys 14s team at Aspire this year, and those boys absolutely hung on every word you said. Somehow they just and listen, getting 8th, 7th, and 8th grade boys to listen to anything you say is really hard.
That's tough. Yeah,
because they're going at 1,000,000 miles an hour,
and they respected your coaching and the way you did it. And I think you're a rock star. We love having you in our gym. And that story is incredible. And to be able to fight through that, and it's still going. But your wife's a fighter. Talk about a fighter as well. She's still fighting every day to get better, and she's going to get there.
Yeah. I mean,
what's the percentage that do the doctors even have that?
We don't know. The brain is such a
it is
like, it's such an incredible like organ, I guess. You just never know.
Yeah.
And Miracle Baby, the youngest, is a miracle, right?
Yeah. And she's a fighter. She is healthy.
She's healthy. She's walking. She's already. I mean, she just had her doctor's appointment. She's already caught up developmentally. She's not like a preemie anymore, kind of thing. So
just cool stuff.
Yeah.
Chris, we appreciate you being with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate
that was awesome,
dude.
Yeah, thank
I
you
loved
guys.
hearing all of that. I hope the listeners like.
If they didn't, they don't have a soul, and they didn't, and they don't want to learn.
Totally
right?
agree.
They don't want to learn and grow and develop as people or coaches or players. That's a lesson to learn. That no matter what's happening in life, you if you keep pushing through and you rely on people like you have your in-laws and you allow them to help you and you fight together. Find somebody like a best friend to marry and fight together, right?
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
I love how you married your best friend.
That's really
That's
cool.
a huge
So-
motto of mine, or I don't know motto, but
Someday you got to get a best friend and then a wife.
I need a best friend first.
We'll start with that one. So thank you for being here. We really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna move on to our next guest here. Noah's gonna cut this up. I have no idea when to do that.
Or not, or it's just going to be cool because we have our little, like, if this was a show, like an actual Jimmy Fallon, he's just sitting off to the side.
He's sitting off to the side.
Yeah, you guys have any commercials or anything?
We don't. We need to do something.
We can make some
Noah's going to
films.
get creative with that. So,
Okay.
all right. So let's do a changing of the
transition?
guard here. A little
Yeah.
transition. Let me get out of the way.
She's playing the
Chris, feel free to stick around.
100%, Chris. You stay right there in this sauna of a room.
I know.
It's good. It's building character. All these toxins are getting out. It's great.
All right.
Let's get on quick.
Get those headphones on.
There you go,
It's
yep.
not going to mess up his hair. That part's good. Okay,
That's funny.
boys and girls, moms and dads, we're moving along here on episode 6. Maybe we turn this into episode 7.
6B,
6A and 6B.
Yeah.
What? You okay, Katie?
It's just like super loud.
Yes.
Oh, it's loud.
Yeah.
He's got sensitive ears.
I know.
I don't know how to turn that down.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. It's the bottom one.
The bottom one.
It's the Yep. So he's
Yeah.
he's the third one. He is the third one.
Are you sure?
Testing.
Is that better?
That's him. He's the fourth.
Say something?
Hello? Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Okay, a little better. So-
It's
that's
good
good.
enough.
All right, good enough.
It's good enough.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. So
Everybody.
we have. There it is.
Man, she's a one trick pony over there.
We've got our second guest on Pin to Pin, the Volleyball Podcast. We just spent some time with Kris Maglunog, an incredible coach with an incredible story of adversity and how to fight through some stuff. And we're on to our next one. And we're really excited to have him on the show. Before we get to his story, we're going to talk a little bit about
Teammate of his.
No, you know what? We're gonna maybe save that for some other times.
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah,
All
we're
right.
gonna talk about something that Will and I try to do a lot with our kids. It's called reframing.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Adversity happens in a lot of different ways, right? And so the way you take it and make it powerful is by reframing, right? You take a negative and you're like, wow, this is not good. I'm struggling. I don't know how to move forward. What do I do in order to make that negative a positive or that adversity turn into a positive? Because you have to face it head on, right? If you just allow it to kind of fester, you don't even address it. Eventually, it gets really hard. So reframing, like for example, I just had a hitting error, but my approach was really good. I saw the block, I just hit it out. So you've taken that negative instead of dwelling on, oh man, I'm a terrible hitter. You can then say I was good at these two skills in that situation.
Messing with your own mind, basically.
Right.
Yep.
So Evan, as you go through your story, we're going to put you to the test here, buddy.
With the reframing.
We're going to I want you to reframe at the end a little bit and see if you can turn in some of what happened to you into a positive. You ready for that?
I feel like it was all positive.
Okay.
Wow.
Then you guys are listening to the right guy.
Proceed.
Okay. So let me introduce Evan a little bit. This story is very near and dear to my heart because Evan and I got to experience this together. Obviously it happened to him more than me, but I got a front row seat to it. So, let's start from the beginning and then we'll work our way through. You stepped foot on the Desert Vista campus as a freshman and you were a basketball player
I was a basketball player.
and you thought you were a good one.
Ouch.
I did think I was good.
You were actually a pretty good one. Athletic kid. Could you touch the rim as a freshman?
I could touch rim.
You could. Yeah. You're a leaper. How high? How tall are you? How tall were you then? Do you remember?
I was probably 5'10".
Yeah. So not very big. Really athletic kid, and you played basketball. What made you want to play volleyball?
Well, volleyball came after basketball season.
Right.
And
You heard Coach Tolman was so cool. You're like, I got to go hang out with that guy.
yeah, well,
That was it. I see.
That's
I knew
exactly what it was.
I knew it.
But I just spent an entire season riding the bench, and I felt like I didn't really have a future in basketball, and I kind of lost my love because I just came off of having like a terrible season with a coach that I didn't really care for.
Right.
And then I had some buddies that were a little older, and they recommended playing volleyball, and I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
I tried out with my best friend Derek Hancock.
Okay. Yeah. Live kitty corner from you, right? Right across the street.
Yep,
And you guys both made the team.
we did.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah, right. I don't know what I was thinking, putting both you guys on the team. So that freshman year, you were, what position you play?
I was a defensive specialist.
Okay.
Yeah,
And did you like that spot?
I hated it.
It didn't allow for your athleticism to be demonstrated, right? Like it
Yeah.
was, but you enjoyed volleyball enough to stick around.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I just knew I needed to find a different position.
Right. So then did you play club you didn't play club the freshman year because you're doing basketball. So then you play club your sophomore year.
Yeah, so I stopped playing basketball so I could play club volleyball.
Right.
And
who was your coach that first year? Do you remember your sophomore year?
I think his name was Sean. He was the Chandler coach.
Okay, well, this is not good. We should remember this. Trent Madsen. Was it Trent?
Madsen.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, Trent Madsen.
There you go.
Thank
There
you,
you go.
Will.
Yep.
Okay, so first coach, and what does he do with you?
Well, I told him that I wanted.
Not a defensive specialist.
Yeah,
coach.
I wanted anything but that. But I said that I wanted to be a setter.
Yeah.
Because you recommended that I try to be setter.
Well, so in my infinite wisdom as a coach, because I know everything.
You say that so much every time. I hate it too.
I don't make mistakes. Wink, wink. I saw incredible athleticism. I saw a good leader. I saw a young man with a good head on his shoulders. And I thought, okay, as goofy as you were, which is fine because all freshmen are goofy. I was like, this kid's got what it takes to be a pretty good setter. So we gave you a shot. Did you set that sophomore year in club at all?
Yeah. So me and Joey ran a 6'2".
Okay. Yep. Joey McCarty, the infamous Joey McCarty.
Yeah, we both went all the way around.
So you were hitting, setting, you were doing the whole 9 yards.
We never made it out of Division 6 though.
Well, you know,
You just stayed there the whole season.
hey, you found your ceiling. That's all right.
It was a
That's
good time.
crazy.
Happened to everybody.
That actually takes skill to not get out of a division. Like the
good.
same tournament every
you
single time.
You don't go up, you don't go down, you're just stuck. Okay, so sophomore year high school.
Sophomore year. Yep.
You sat on the JV team.
I did.
And you were really good at it. I remember thinking, man, this kid chases everything. Joey was the opposite of you. Joey chased down very little, and you chased down everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, athletic kid. And then you were in my Spanish class, so we spent a lot of time together.
I feel like you didn't like me.
You drove me crazy.
That was so organic. I loved it.
Full disclosure, you drove me crazy. You were goofy.
Yeah.
But there was always something about you that I really appreciated. I loved.
You secretly loved it.
Absolutely, I did. And so, end of the season as a sophomore, talk us through kind of what you started to experience.
Okay, so my sophomore year, we had the best JV team in state.
Hands down, it wasn't even close.
We were undefeated, and Highland was undefeated. We were playing Highland coming back from spring break.
So this is like March?
It's like right after spring break.
Yeah, middle of March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Middle end of March.
So I had a good spring break. I was jumping off of stuff. It was a stupid spring break. And then
He's a goofy kid.
Probably didn't take the advice of the coach when he said, hey, don't go do something stupid, right? Yeah, but jumping off of stuff.
And then at the Highland game, I felt like this like severe pain in my leg. Like that was the first time that I felt that pain. And my mom was like, "Oh, like you're probably just."
Did we win that game? Did you win that game? Do you even remember?
No,
we lost.
It was
Bummer.
the only game we lost.
So the second best JV team.
Yeah, it's okay.
We
all
do
right.
need to fact check that. Oh, hey. Move on.
Do you know what I went through? But the reason we lost is because I drank an entire Gatorade of pickle juice to try to calm down the cramps.
I remember that. Your mom, for a long time, thought you were experiencing cramps. Doctors thought it. Here's some pickle juice, bud.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. I've drank it. It's not. It's gross.
It was pretty nasty.
But it's supposed to help with cramps.
Yeah.
So they thought you were cramping.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the point where you just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
That was the summertime, right? Is that kind of when it eventually came around?
So it came in waves. After that Highland game, it was okay. I would just take ibuprofen before I played. Finish the season undefeated after Highland, obviously.
We will fact check that.
And then I just started playing volleyball every day over the summer.
Right.
With the older
You guys were playing a ton of volleyball.
Yeah, we had a key to a church. I was getting really good,
Mm-hmm.
actually.
I remember. And then it got to the point where you couldn't play. I remember your mom messaged me and said, "Hey, we don't know what's going on. He physically can't do it."
Mm-hmm.
And we know at some point, because you loved it so much, she knew at that point, we got to really figure this out because he's not able to do what he loves doing.
Yeah, it got to the point where I couldn't sleep at night, actually. I would put a pillow in between my legs and take a lot of ibuprofen, and I would just lay there crying in bed. And so that's when we kind of knew that
this is scary.
This isn't right.
I can't play volleyball and I can't sleep.
Cramps.
Yeah.
Cramps. But so yeah, I had
no amount of
doctor's
pickle
appointment.
juice could fix that.
Yeah. So yeah, we scheduled a doctor's appointment. We were actually supposed to go on vacation, but I stayed back because I was in so much pain. My family went to Utah.
They just left you there. Good luck, Evan.
Just chilling.
We'll see you when we get back.
Yeah. I went to the doctor, and then came back, and they said that it looked like a stress fracture in my femur. And I was like, shoot, I wonder how long I'm going to be out of volleyball.
Yeah.
That sucks. And then the doctor said that something was off and that I should get an MRI.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Do you know, or
No,
he just gut instinct?
No, he just saw something he didn't like and was just like, yeah, I think
I
we
like
need to
him.
get you an MRI.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saved your life.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that. Takes a village.
So you finally got it diagnosed properly after a few doctor's appointments.
Right.
And what was the diagnosis?
I had osteosarcoma in my right femur, which is a form of bone cancer.
And that kills a lot of kids.
Yeah, the survival rate is not very high.
Yeah. It's low.
I didn't know that.
It's probably better you didn't.
So I
truthfully.
did.
Yeah.
When your mom told me what it was, I Googled it, and I remember crying. I remember looking at the computer screen saying, "Holy crap, this is going to be gnarly."
Mm-hmm.
And there were some dark days.
Yeah.
So you started going through chemo and radiation and all that, and you had the cool haircut in the back of the head that looked like some
Yeah.
some sunglasses back there. You looked like the forward and backwards guy.
Yeah.
That's the perfect example of reframing. No,
I'm losing my hair, but I'm gonna have this sweet. It was
Exactly.
literally hair,
It was a mustache and
sunglasses in the back.
on the back.
It was great. I'll never forget that.
It was good stuff. Good stuff.
And then you had some gnarly surgery.
I did, yeah. They took out almost my entire femur and my full knee. So I have a titanium femur and a full knee replacement.
Do you ding this? Everybody asks this. Do you ding at the airport?
Yeah. I just went to the Suns game yesterday.
Yeah.
And I told him I had a metal knee, and
What?
he scanned it and it checked out.
The motion you did, it looked like a hammer.
Yeah, I can hear it in there. Everything's fine.
You're good.
So gnarly surgery, tons of
A
chemo,
lot, yep.
And we got to talk about this. This dude showed up to practice because I was coaching your son.
Yes.
Daxton.
So that was one thing that I vividly remember is
Sitting in the corner.
Evan would man up, and I don't think people realized how much manning up it took to come to practice, club practice, and you'd get there and we'd set you up in the corner sometimes. You remember this? Mm-hmm. And you'd lay down in the corner and you'd watch. And, every now and then we'd come over and we'd talk to you. And it was an incredible show of strength and determination. And I know your teammates appreciate it. I don't think you know how much I appreciated that. Just being able to see you every day. What was that like? I mean, talk about how that impacted you. Like what, just getting enough energy to get yourself there.
Yeah. Sometimes I had to reschedule chemo to attend some tournaments. But yeah, it was,
we pushed you around in the wheelchair at tournaments.
It was really good for me, but at the same time, like when I would think about it, then like I would just get really sad.
It was hard.
Like
You'd sit there and watch.
I sat there and watched so many volleyball games and practices. Like it just got to the point where I was just like, man, I didn't know if I would play again. Like I always believed that I would play again, but like
there's that doubt.
At a certain point, I was just like, man, like how long is this gonna take? Like I see people on the court like not giving it their all. Do you remember the conversation?
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
Like, I'll never forget that conversation.
I won't say the name, but I pulled Tolman aside. I wheeled up next to him, and I was like, "Hey, man!"
Tugging on my shirt. What is that? What is going on?
And I was like, I can't believe that there's people out there. Like I'm watching them not go for balls or like not even look like they're having fun.
And I'm here.
And I'm sitting right next to them, having so much less fun.
Perfect way of saying it.
Yeah, so much less fun. It was one of the most impactful conversations I've ever had with one of my players.
Did you talk to the team about it?
Absolutely.
And did you address the team or did Tolman?
I addressed the team a couple times.
Yeah, Evan definitely talked to him about it. The lessons that were learned.
Those boys grew up to
by
be
his teammates
pretty quick, huh?
And by myself. I mean, I've been coaching now for at that time for 14, 15 years or something like that. It's been a long time. And you just, until you experience something like that with one of your players, you can't know the lessons that are going to be learned. And it was an incredible moment for me. Selfishly, it was something that shapes who I am as a coach now. And I wouldn't give it up for anything. I know you probably would change things, but for me, like I said, selfishly, like the moments that we shared and the things that we learned were really incredible. So let's go to the good. Fought like crazy.
Yeah.
And there's more. There is way more people. Like this is the beginning of your volleyball career.
Yeah.
Yes, he just had started.
Yeah.
And misses his whole junior year. Doesn't go to school, right? You missed out school your whole junior year. So then he's like, I'm going to be a 5th-year senior.
And then what kind of challenges did that bring with the AIA?
The AIA was great, actually.
Yeah, they were very good.
That's good to hear.
Right, which is sometimes not always the case.
Yeah, right. The only case. I think.
So junior year, club was tough because he was still really going through all of that gnarly.
Wait,
and then...
Are you saying my...
Yeah, your junior year.
Yeah.
Right, because it was the big... Summer was when you got diagnosed before junior year. And then club was when the surgery and all that happened. Yeah. And then you started to get better.
I remember when we were playing club and I was sitting in the wheelchair, every time I would tell you, I'd be like, hey, man, I'm going to be there by school season.
And I laughed. Just like you did, Will. I was like, no way. I said, listen, Evan, I would love for you to be there, but I'm not holding my breath.
And I was just like, hey, man, like, Joey's not good enough. I got this.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
You got to send this to Joey.
So
I was in a wheelchair.
He'd wheel out in the middle of practice. Water breaks. He's like, someone throw me a ball so I can set it. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, my hands were nice.
They were nice. So school year comes around, junior year. Mm-hmm. Talk about the state you were in.
So actually during the school season is when I started like not using a wheelchair anymore. Mm-hmm. I started walking around in crutches, putting weight on my leg. And then like halfway through the season, I beat cancer.
Totally beat it. Gone.
It was pretty wild.
It was an awesome day.
When did you find that out?
March 26th.
So that's almost a year.
From when you started feeling the pain.
Yeah.
So you didn't play that year, right? It was around the team, as always, inspirational. We talked about it all the time. Senior year, you play club, but you still weren't ready.
I didn't actually play club.
Did you not play? I thought that was.
I was on the practice. Like I just practiced with.
Right. But you were on the court.
Yeah, but I was on the court, and then I got into an argument with the coach.
Yeah, we won't talk about that one. We're just gonna.
That'll be off there.
Yeah, we'll just zip past that. But
But like I played a little bit. I only played libero because I couldn't move very well.
Still trying to figure out how the new leg worked.
Yeah,
I remember those conversations. I do.
Yeah.
Building strength in the new leg.
Like what can or can I not do?
Right.
Yeah.
So then school season comes around. Do you remember where we were when you first stepped? So school season comes around and you broke your arm.
So, oh my goodness.
Crazy.
Okay, so I was actually, so I realized that I could only play libero. The doctor said that I should not be jumping. I should not be near the net. Like, I don't want to risk, like, landing on someone with my leg. Like, it's just stupid. They said I shouldn't play sports in general, but I was like,
That's not gonna happen.
My name's Evan Johnson.
Yeah. And so I dedicated myself to libero, and it's obviously the easiest position, so.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, liberos.
He is a clear guest. He is a clear.
Okay, so it's the easiest position.
I played it with one leg.
If I can do it with one leg, what's wrong with these two-legged people?
No, I'm just shout out to all the liberos.
Yeah.
But it felt like the one that I could play. And I started to learn it. Like I'd never passed a ball, like besides freshman year.
Picked it up so fast.
So fast.
It was actually kind of wild. I remember one practice I started like actually passing threes and digging balls, and I was like, I might be the starting libero.
So
the end, like
you were on track to be the starting libero.
the first game was the next week, and I was getting really good.
Who are you competing against?
His name was Cole Sanuick.
Okay.
And then
Week before the first game.
the last play of the day.
Was it about a week before?
It was the Friday before.
Friday before. We're playing on Tuesday. It's not even a week, right?
Yeah. And I'm fading to my right. I don't have a lot of even still I don't really like plant my right leg. I just kind of fall. I pass the ball with my hands. It's a 3-pass, obviously.
Obviously.
Because libero's easy.
And then I fall and fracture my wrist.
I thought I was going to quit forever on that moment. You have this thought as a coach, like, I have seen this kid touch death and rally. We talk about down 24-11 and rally to get to that moment. And now all of a sudden, a broken arm on a fluke play. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it.
In practice.
I'm surprised I was able to drive home that night, seeing through the tears. I was devastated for you.
Yeah. And it was like obvious. Like I went to the trainer and came back, and there was just a bubble. It was messed up.
So throw it in a cast.
Throw it in a cast.
And it's like,
Watch more volleyball.
Watch more volleyball.
Set with one hand.
But then remarkably, like 2-3 weeks, right? It was fast.
No, it was. I mean,
because we were in California the end of March.
To California, whenever that is. I think it was like 4 weeks.
Okay, so 4 weeks. You finally get the cast off.
He's back.
I get the cast off, and I get this dude to wrap the crap out of my wrist. It could not move. My wrist could not.
We're in California for a travel tournament with the Desert Vista team. And he's in my ear.
Of course he is.
I need to play. And there was no way I wasn't going to put him in.
Because you never know.
And Katie was there. Our guest show producer tonight was there.
Doing great.
She was sitting. She was sitting right next to me on the bench. Those California trips were great. I had no assistant coach, and then we go to California, and my wife would sit next to me. It was awesome, sitting right next to me on the bench. And Evan goes in the game, and I was not focused on what was happening.
He took out his phone.
I took out my phone.
Yeah.
Started taking pictures. I'm like, you know what, coaching?
It's a game.
Yeah, coaching at this point is irrelevant.
Yeah.
I just need to document this. If you want to see some of those pictures, I'm sure they're still up on the Instagram at Ryan Tolman. Go check it out. Evan Johnson playing his first match after telling cancer to take a hike,
and your wrist,
and then the wrist.
Insult to injury.
Yeah, and so Evan, without we could go, we could go, game for game after that. You just kept getting better and better and better. And senior year, right? The second senior year, that was hard because you're playing now with kids that were younger than you when you came in. You still had some really good buddies on the team, but it was different. But you were there and you helped that team. And we were going to the state playoffs. We were number 1 in the state with you as a libero. And it was the last team I ever coached at Desert Vista.
Is that this squad?
That's the squad, 2016.
Yep.
And that's your 6'2" buddy.
Yeah, but he was Joey. Joey was the setter at the time.
I remember this team. And look, there's your
and
buddy.
Derek. And Evan hung in there, starting libero, and we were a couple of points away from a state final, and
so you made the Final Four.
we did, and it was a tough way to go out, but would never have wanted to do it without Evan by our side, and it was an incredible lesson on adversity and how do you fight through it. And it would have been great to have that end in a ring in a state championship, but sometimes that's not.
A lot of people don't get to a Final Four though,
well, and that's not how life is sometimes. Yeah. But the real win was the fact that he was out there contributing, and not contributing, being really good at it. So
with all the people that helped me get through it, though, that's
with all cool. The guys.
Yeah, because I mean, there were days in the hospital. I lived at the hospital half the time. Where I would just get like really down and like very lonely.
Yeah.
And like one of the most vivid memories was just me like laying there, just like, what is going on? Like I'm supposed to be like in high school.
Yeah, I'm a kid.
Being a normal dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And just feeling like complete and utterly alone. And then the whole volleyball team would just like show up and just like joke with me. Tolman would come, and like it just changed everything. And like that's when I knew that it was like a family. I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it alone. Like, I just couldn't have. And there's a lot of people that helped me, but the volleyball team was very important during that time.
A special group of kids.
Yeah.
That group was. It was really a fun group to be around. So you kept playing. You did you played at ASU, learned how to play libero a little bit more, even though it's super easy, apparently. Still playing every once in a while. We see you out there, but
he coached
at Aspire with us. So volleyball is a huge part. All right. So back to when we started, we want you to reframe. So, you did a little bit of that right there. Right. But, maybe talk about a lesson learned or lessons learned, or, how did you reframe that negativity sometimes in those dark moments?
I mean, Kris brought up a good point. Like, you really find out like who's actually there for you, like who's gonna ride it out with you. There were some people that like I thought were gonna be there for me, and they just, were busy doing other stuff, which is fine. But I kind of like cut ties with them and like only kept the people close to me that were there for me. And like I don't know. I feel like when bad things happen, like sometimes you just can't do it alone, and like it's okay to like ask for help. I feel like that's something that I really needed. Like I couldn't have done it alone, and a lot of people were there to help me. So just surround yourself with people that can lift you up during your dark days, and you lift them up during their dark days, and that's how we get through it. I mean, everybody goes through struggles. That's just life. And just be there for one another, because that's all we can do.
I love it.
How old are you?
Right now?
Yeah.
24.
Going on 55, right?
Lived a couple of lives.
Is that a hairline joke?
No. That's a maturity joke.
Awesome. We really appreciate you being here and sharing your story. It's one that I will hold with me forever. And wherever I am, you're always welcome, even on the podcast. So we're glad you could be here today.
Thanks for having me.
We're glad we could have this conversation about adversity. We deal with it all the time, and
little things.
I think that the best players, the best coaches, the best parents are the ones like Kris and Evan who embrace it. They know it's there. They rely on others, right? You realize who's really there to help you. The volleyball community can be pretty tight knit. We're on teams for a reason, right? We get put on these teams to help each other. It's a team sport. You're not doing it on your own, and life's a team sport, and it's a great lesson to have. And I'm glad we were able to have this conversation.
This was a cool episode.
It was
this
great.
is a different kind of episode.
Yeah.
I
Thanks for hanging in there with us. Like, subscribe.
Do what you got to do. We do
donate.
have shout outs. Shout out. I don't know why I made it plural, because we got the one singular donor.
The one
our
singular
first donor. This is like the first dollar bill you get at your restaurant, right?
We're gonna shout him out on the next episode.
Okay, yeah. So stay tuned. You don't know who this guy is.
This is going to be a big
or
one,
gal,
right?
Yeah, it's a guy. It's a guy there. Sorry, guys.
But exciting stuff coming down the pike for Pin to Pin, the volleyball podcast. And thanks for hanging in. And we will see you guys next time.
Peace.